Hey, I'm Pascal, and how about we put aside some time to think? Today, you are Jonathan, and your boss is a visionary, but you have different ideas about your approach. This is part one of that situation. This is a first example situation using the mental reprogramming techniques that I talked in the intro video, which you'll find a link in the description below. So you, Jonathan, have a visionary boss, but whose ideas about how to do things clash with yours. You think your ways and his ways are different, and his ways are stuck in the past. And he's never had to change those ways of thinking. It worked for him before. He rose through the ranks, and he's thinking he doesn't have to change anything about his views. He doesn't want to do like everybody else. And so you think that he's kind of closed-minded about that change that you see he has to do. You feel that there's trust missing. You don't think that he'll represent your team well because you're both not on the same page. And he won't change his mind until, that's what he tells you anyways, until you demonstrate proof that your way of working is better. So, fair enough, he's the boss. But you're thinking he's missing an important opportunity to sow trust in the team by putting the onus, on you to prove that your way is better. It's basically telling you, I don't trust you. And even though a lot of big shot people around the world use this approach that you're suggesting, he's basically telling you, I don't trust you. So you feel that his insistence to stick to his views, to his paradigms, is pretty shitty. So what do? Do you confront him? Do you tell him to his face that he's wrong or that he probably should do something different? Or do you respect his view? Do you be gentle? So before you choose an approach, let's write up some half-done lists describing a future where something is actually better, describing a win in the future. So a reminder on half-done lists, how they work. The title starts with before ... and ends with I'll have. Before ... I'll have. That's the structure of the title of a half-done list. And in the middle, it describes a future situation, a future date, something like that. So for example, before I can say that my boss has changed his views, I'll have. Before I can say that we're on the same page with our views, I'll have. Before the end of our next talk about the matter, I'll have. So the idea of the next talk, that's a bit the situation that I was telling you about in the intro video, preparing a conversation with your boss. So what we have so far is probably good in this case, but what about we look at other timelines? We go longer term, for example. Before my boss and I felt we're both winning in our respective purviews, I'll have, he'll have. That's pretty interesting. Or it could be based on a date like before the end of the year, I'll have, he'll have. So I kind of like the idea of before we can say we both are winning in each of our purviews. And so let's go a little bit deep on that. I'll have felt I'm winning, he'll have felt he's winning, he'll have felt he has a highly able team, for example. He'll have felt he can trust his team with the tactical. He'll have felt he can be aligned with a future that will be great for him, will be prosperous, and is kind of inevitable. So before you can say that he's going to feel that way, what needs to happen? So that's a bit the idea. So I'll stop right here for part one, and within the next week, I'll publish part two. We'll continue with those lists until they sound true, and so we need to add statements like with a past participle at the beginning, etc. More of these statements until they sound true and inevitable, and you'll know what to do to make that future happen. You'll know exactly the kind of posture you need to have to make it happen. Including, you'll know what to do about your mental models, and you'll know which ones are not true and you need to remove them and rewrite them, etc. Until next week, continue changing situations for the better. See ya.